As we all know, in this class we will be learning how to make vector arts as a beginner. So first of all, we need to know on which software we are going to do that. And obviously we will be doing that inside Adobe Illustrator CC, and this is the interface you are going to get when you launch Adobe Illustrator CC for the first time. Now obviously your recent part will be cleared, but I have some files here because these are the files or these are the projects I have previously worked on. So if you do not see anything in your recent part, there's no need to panic because you just have not made any single project inside Illustrator and you are doing it for the first time. Now when it comes to creating a new file inside Adobe Illustrator, you can either click on create new button or go to file and then click on new. When you click on new, you will get a Windows pop-up in which you can select the dimensions of the document or the canvas on which you are going to work. So for instance, this time we are going for art and illustration. So we can go to those templates and select any template which we like. For example, we have the A4 paper size, we have B4 paper size and other. Similarly, if we go to film and video templates, here you can have HD, 4K, 8K, 2K, etc. etc. And the same goes for web, mobile, print and etc. So what we will be doing is we will be making a custom preset, and for our custom preset I will be suggesting you to go for pixels and then 1080 by 1080, and this is because 1080 by 1080 is like the standard for most of the social media posts. These actually fill up your mobile screen in the portrait mode, and that is good. Actually it doesn't fill the whole screen, it actually, like if this is your imaginary mobile screen, it fills about 80% and then 20% is left for the caption. So this provides a very good impact. Then you can choose the color mode. It can either be RGB or CMYK, and I will be suggesting you to go for 72 ppi in raster effects, and that is because if you will go with the higher ppi, that will be imparting more load, or that will be more CPU intensive for your computer. So if you have a computer with like the RTX 3080 Ti and stuff, so you can go with the high. But if you have like a normal PC or a mid-range PC, I will be suggesting you should go for 72 ppi. And when you have all of this, you can name your document. So I will be naming it vector, and then just click on create button. And when you click on create button, it will take some time and your document will load. And now this is the basic interface in which you will be working inside Adobe Illustrator. So now I can make it full screen by pressing F on keyboard, and now we are full screen. And now you can see here is this like a white page with some borders, and here are some panels. So first of all, let's talk about from the top left. Here you can see it's the Illustrator logo, and then you have the home icon. If you click on home icon, you will be redirected back to the home side from where we created this document. Then you can see some of the buttons here. We also call these tabs, and these tabs has different kind of functions that you will need when you will be using Adobe Illustrator. Next thing you can see here is this button written as essential. So the essential is actually for the workspace. The overall interface that you are seeing right now is the workspace of your Adobe Illustrator, and it is made by docking and undocking of different panels here. So you can see this is a panel, this is a panel, this is a panel, and even these are some panels. You can even dock these here. So this is for the workspace, and if your workspace is not looking like mine, you can just click on this and go for Essentials Classic or even Essentials. And still, if your interface is not like mine, you can just click on Reset Essentials and everything will be shifted back to the default one, and you will have the same interface as mine. On the bottom, you can see this is the zoom percentage. It will be modified if you use zoom tool, or you can either go with this. And then you have this number written here, and this tells you about which artboard are you on. This white page is actually your artboard. Similarly, like you have a canvas in your physical painting, you can have multiple artboards. If you are going for a storyline, for example, let's say you have 1, 2, 3, 4 artboards, so it will tell you on which artboard you are working. If you are on the first one, it will say 1. If you are on the second one, it will say 2. If you are on third one, it will say 3. Next, you have this bar which says selection. So this bar actually tells you the name of the tool you are working with. For example, this is a toolbar and I have my selection tool selected. The next tool is set direct selection tool. As you can see, if I left click on it and select it, it will say direct selection. Similarly, if I go for the color picker or eyedropper, it will say eyedropper. I will go with width tool, it will say width tool. I will go with zoom tool, it will say zoom. So this is just to tell you which tool you are working with. Then you have on the right side some panels which say properties, layer and libraries. The libraries is actually for the people who are going to work with Adobe stock. So you have all of your creative data linked to your Adobe account here. Then you have the layers tab. It is essential to know about the layers tab or layer panel just because it is the thing you will be working with the most. For example, if I click on this button, I can create new layers. So now I have 6 layer hairs. And for example, if I am on layer 1 and I create a stroke. So this is a stroke. Then I go to layer 3 and I create a solid and maybe color it with white. Then I go to layer 5 and I create a random shape with a different color. So now I have some elements inside my layers, and these elements can be shifted from one layer to another just by dragging them, and the arrangement of these elements inside these layers actually tell you which component you will be seeing first. For example, layer 6 is on top but it is empty right now, so we'll go towards layer 5, and layer 5 has this path, so we are seeing this on top. If we drag this path to layer 6, you will see that path on top, and this is about the basics of layers tab. Also, you can hide layers by pressing on this button, and you can select this circle to select everything that is present inside that layer. You can delete the layer by just pressing this button, and you can click on this layer to create a sub layer inside one layer. So these were some basics about the layers tab. And then you have the properties tab, in which you have the information related to document, and then if you select a particular tool, you will have information regarding that tool. For example, if I have selected brush tool, I have information regarding stroke because that is required. I can increase the stroke value, I can change its opacity, or you can say visibility. I can change the brush style, I can recolor it, I can join two or more strokes, etc, etc, etc. All of the stuff or all of the related function of that particular tool or of that particular element can be seen inside the properties tab. So these were some basics about the interface and some most used panels of Adobe Illustrator when it comes to making vector art. Now we will be going towards the vector art formation. Now for the vector art formation, you can either go for drawing or tracing. If you are going for drawing, I will suggest you that you have a better hand, or you can say the better practice of like drawing all of the lines and stuff. And for that, you can go for a software that is called Pure Ref. This is the spelling. So PureRef is a software that is used to dock images on top of your screen. If you open a PureRef, you will have a rectangle or a square that you can modify. So let's say you are working on Illustrator in this position. So you will dock your image here, and then you can just come here and see that image and like draw a figure. Like here are the eyes, here is the nose, here are the lips, these are the this, and you will draw a vector. So this is the first method that I will suggest to go for when you are an expert, or at least when you have created like 50 or 100 vector arts just by tracing. So then you will be expert in lines and stuff, and you will have the basic knowledge related to anatomy. The second method is by vector tracing, and in the vector tracing you will have an image on your artboard in a bottom layer, and then you can lock that layer so that you don't mess up the image, and you begin drawing on the upper layers, and in the end you just hide the tracing layer. So we will be going with this same method, and let's see, delete all of these layers. So we are on layer 1, and now we will be importing a document. For importing, you can go to file, and then here you can see the button place. When you click on it, you will get a Windows pop-up, and then you can redirect to the place where you have your reference image, and just click on that and select open. So now I'm going to place that image here. So when you open that, you will see that image like a square or a rectangle near your cursor. So when I'll just left click using my mouse, my image will be here. Now as you can see, the dimensions of my artboard were 1080 by 1080 and image is far bigger than that. And this is gonna help me in making the vector art because my image quality will not be distorted. So when you have decreased the size of the image or optimized the size of the image by using these handles, you can place that anywhere on your artboard just by using your left mouse button and moving that, but make sure you have selected the selection tool in doing that. So after placing the image at correct position, this is going to be a good position for us. You can just change the name by double clicking obviously and then typing reference or maybe simple ref will work fine. And then you can lock this layer and now nothing will work on this layer. And to draw anything, to do anything else inside this layer, you have to unlock this or you have to create a new layer. So we will be going with a new layer and then we will work on that later. So this was all about this lecture in which we learned about the basics of Adobe Illustrator. We learned about workspace, we learned about different panels and some basics of most used panels. Also, we got knowledge about two ways of making the vector arts and then we learned about importing the reference image for creation of vector arts. This was all about this lecture.